the fish that shouldn't be able to swim. There's a fish shaped like a cube, not roughly boxy. An actual box, flat sides, hard corners, bright yellow, covered in black polka dots. It looks less like an animal and more like a child's toy that fell into the ocean. And by every rule of physics we understand about swimming, it should be terrible at moving through water. But it isn't. In fact, it might be one of the most efficient swimmers in the sea. So efficient that automotive engineers once built a concept car around its shape. So how does a cube outglide creatures built like torpedoes? That's the question. And the answer is stranger than the fish looks. Meet the yellow boxfish. It lives in the reefs of the Indo-Pacific, rarely growing past 18 inches. Juveniles are the cube, canary yellow, dark spots, edges so sharp they cast shadows. As they age, the color fades to a dull olive and the corners soften, which already tells you something. The most extreme version of this animal is its baby form. But start with the obvious objection. A cube has flat sides. Flat sides create drag. Drag slows you down. Every fast-moving fish, tuna, marlin, mackerel, is smooth and tapered for a reason. So the boxfish should be a disaster. Here's where it gets strange. Back in 2005, Mercedes-Benz unveiled a car they said was inspired by the boxfish. They claimed its shape was aerodynamically brilliant, low drag, high stability. Headlines everywhere. The ugly fish that taught engineers how to build cars. Then, years later, other scientists ran the numbers again. And they found something uncomfortable. The boxfish shape isn't actually stable. Those flat sides and hard edges? In moving water they generate little swirling vortices, tiny spinning pockets of pressure along the body. And those vortices should make the fish tumble and spin uncontrollably, like a shoebox thrown down a river. So now we have the opposite problem. The car story said the shape was stable. The physics said it was chaotically unstable. Both can't be right. But they are. And that contradiction is the whole secret. Think about a tightrope walker. Standing perfectly still on a wire is nearly impossible. Your body is constantly falling one way or the other. What makes them stable isn't balance. It's the tiny, constant corrections. Wobble left, adjust right, 1,000 times a second. The boxfish does the same thing. Those destabilizing vortices aren't a flaw. They're a feature. The fish uses its small fins to make micro-corrections, riding the instability instead of fighting it. Because a body that tips easily also turns easily. And on a coral reef, a maze of tight corners, narrow gaps, and dead ends, turning matters more than speed. Which explains the shape completely. The boxfish never needed to be fast. It needed to hover, pivot, and thread through cracks a torpedo could never fit. Its cube isn't built for open water. It's built for a cluttered one. There's one more piece. The boxfish barely bends its body when it swims. Its rigid armor plating, fused bony scales forming a shell, means it can't ripple side to side like a normal fish. So it flutters its fins instead, like a hummingbird underwater. Slow, precise, deliberate. So return to the question. How does a cube outmaneuver a torpedo? By refusing to be a torpedo at all. The boxfish reveals a principle that shows up everywhere in nature. Instability isn't always weakness. Sometimes the thing that looks clumsy is just optimized for a game you didn't know was being played. The fish that shouldn't be able to swim isn't fighting the water. It's dancing on the edge of falling, on purpose.